Always a bit of a homecoming to see some friends and family, and obviously can't do that right now. It's a little bit different. My brother's 3 minutes away, and I can't see him, so it's kind of funny that way. But we're here to play hockey, and we're here to do a job, so that's the way it is.
Thank you, Connor.
Next question, Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Connor, your relationship with Auston goes back to the World Cup. Is it the same sort of rivalry as, say, Crosby and Ovechkin back in the day, where they were, I don't know if they're friends, but they appreciated each other's ability to play the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's obviously such a talent. He's been such a force in the league ever since he stepped in. So he's a fun guy to watch. It was fun to be able to train with him and kind of see it firsthand, and obviously a lot of respect for him. So it'll be fun to go up against him tonight.
One other question about your face-offs. You worked with Keith Acton. He used to be an assistant coach with the Oilers. Crosby's face-offs got better as he played more years in the NHL. Why did you feel you had to ask Keith to help you out?
Yeah, it just wasn't good enough, and it was something that needed to be looked at and worked on. I haven't taken a ton of draws for someone that's played in the league for over 5 years. So I played with a lot of centermen that kind of step in there for every once in a while. We kind of split them. So I probably haven't taken as many draws as I should have. So just trying to catch up on those reps, and that's the only way you're going to get better at it.
Next question, Mark Masters, TSN.
Hi, Connor. When you were training and hanging around Auston in the office, what stood out the most about the way he approaches the game, approaches his craft?
He's very dialed in. His whole life is wrapped around it, obviously, as it should be. So, it was impressive to see how hard he works and how much detail goes into it.
When you're on the ice with him tonight, what's the biggest thing you have to keep in mind going up against him?
You can't give him any space. When you give him any space, he can shoot it, and when he shoots it, he can almost go in from anywhere. So you have to stay tight on him. He's such a dangerous guy, so you have to definitely key on him.
Next question, Jack Michaels, 630 Chad.
Connor, could you give us some idea of what the road trip was like, the plane, the vibe in the hotel, as compared to normal, where maybe the first trip is an opportunity to, get everyone out to dinner and really get to know some of your new teammates?
Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe. I mean, no cards on the plane, assigned seating, masks on the plane, following all the protocols. So, we want to be safe first and foremost, and that's the main thing. So, I thought we did a good job on our first flight doing that. And the hotel is, different obviously as well. It's just us in there. Meals in a meal room, assigned seating. It's definitely different. But at the same time, it's still a good way to get to know some of those new teammates that you haven't been able to kind of connect with at home. They got families or whatever. So still a good opportunity to come together here.
And training in the off season, do the groups, is there ever a guy that, there's a little bit of an awkward moment just because of animosity that's been built up during the regular season, or does most of that get left behind? Is there a group of guys that you wouldn't train with, I guess I would ask? You know what? You want to train with the best guys, and you want to train with the best coach, and so you do that, and there's never any animosity in the off season. I mean, what happens on the ice happens on the ice, and you deal with it on the ice. And when it's time to train and it's the off season, you're just trying to get better and focus on yourself.
Next question, Luke Fox, Sportsnet.
Hi, Connor. How much and what kind of role did Jonathan Toews play in helping you with face-offs in the offseason?
John. He was only in Arizona for a short time when we were skating there. And we didn't really go over it, honestly.
Okay. And then also I wanted to know if you noticed any difference with the pucks that were used for the first few games and the ones that the NHL changed back to the normal ones. Did you notice a difference?
I didn't even know they did anything. So I guess that's a good sign.
Kevin McGrath, Toronto Star.
Hey, Connor, just a little bit more about your relationship with Auston Matthews, if you're not too sick of talking about it yet. But is there anything about him that you learned, like, off the ice that you hadn't known when you're able to spend a little bit of time with him this summer?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe I didn't pay that close attention. No. I mean, he's a guy that I already kind of knew. At the World Cup. Got to play on the same team, same line as him, so got to know him pretty good there. And nothing that stood out.
Thanks a lot.
Next question, Dave McCarthy, NHL.com.
Hey, Connor, in a shortened season where obviously the importance of getting off to a good start is probably even more so than it would be in an 82-game year, how do you approach the urgency level of the next two games here against Toronto for your group?
Big 2 games, big road trip for us. We need to come back, 500 or better, overall. So I think, this is a huge road trip. Huge road trip for us. We'll start tonight.
Thanks.
Last 2 questions, Michael Tracos, Post Media. Go ahead, Michael.
Connor, can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm here right now. Hello?
Ryan will come to you after. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Connor, I just wanted to ask you about another number 1 overall pick in Jack Hughes. He had a difficult season last year as a rookie. I wondered if you reached out to him, considering that you guys kind of know each other a bit from the Toronto area, and if you noticed the game he had last night against the Rangers, where it looked like all that skill and potential was on display.
He's a guy that I've skated with a couple times. I don't really know him that well. So no, I didn't reach out or anything like that. He had a tough season, but it's a tough jump. It's the biggest jump you can make. 18 years old playing in the NHL against grown men. So, and he learned that. I think he obviously worked hard, and he's coming out of the gates pretty good. He looks good, and it's good to see.
Awesome, thanks.
Last question, Ryan Rishaug, TSN.
Hey, Connor, just wondering if you guys have had a chance to sort of evaluate things offensively over the last couple of games and 5-on-5, kind of where you think things are at and what you think might need a bit more of a push 5-on-5.
Yeah, I mean, we've give credit to Montreal. They played two great games. I thought in our first one we were probably a little flat. Second one, I liked where we were at. Battle with them. They score a point shot that just kind of finds its way in, and it's 1-0 most of the game. And we have a ton of power play that we don't capitalize on. That if we do, it's probably a different game. So, it is what it is, and I have to move on and find a way to get a couple wins here on the road trip.
And just on that power play, you had lots of opportunity. As you mentioned, you didn't cash in. But when you look back at it, were you happy with the number of kind of high quality chances that you were able to generate? And is there anything you tweak tonight?
Our power play has been together for a long time. It's had lots of success. We've also had lulls, where it's probably not quite as focused on as it is at the start of the season, but our lulls come at the beginning. So that is what it is, and but I've liked the way we've generated chances. If the puck bounced one way or another, I mean, we could be sitting here with 4 or 5 more goals on the power play. So I like where we've been at. Just gotta stick with it.
This ends Connor McDavid's media availability. Please stay tuned for Tyson Barrie and David Tippett.
Thanks for continuing to watch our coverage of morning skate in Toronto. I'm your host, Tony Brar. We just heard from Captain Connor McDavid as it appears that Tyson Barrie has also stepped up to the podium. Let's head to Toronto now.
Hey, Tyson, good to see you again. Last year when you went back to Colorado, I don't know what you did, but you had the opportunity to see old friends, old teammates and all that. This year coming into Toronto, you don't have that opportunity. Are you disappointed by that? Like, what would you have done had you could you have gone out last night?
Yeah, we were texting. I was texting with a bunch of the fellas, and would have been nice to go for a nice soda dinner and get together with everyone. But obviously not in the cards this year. But we'll get together in the future, I'm sure. But it's nice to be back.
How do you think your transition to the Oilers has been?
Good. I mean, we're still early on here, and not a whole lot of time during camp, but I'm feeling pretty good. And obviously, we'd like better results in our first few games, but we'll continue to work and turn this thing around a little bit.
Next question, Mark Masters, TSN.
Hi, Tyson. I know it's early in the year, but I'm wondering if you've noticed any similarities between Connor McDavid being around him as a teammate and Auston Matthews having gotten to know him last year.
Yeah, I mean, both amazing players, different personalities, but obviously world-class talent. And, I kind of laugh, and I've got to play with, Nate and then Auston and Connor. So I'm kind of ticking off all the top dogs. So it's a cool experience, and you see different things that they do to prepare and how they conduct themselves, and you try to take little things. And I feel very fortunate to be on a team with such high-end talent.
What if anything did you take from Auston last year?
Lots. I mean, me and Auston were good buddies, and sat next to each other on the plane, and we'd carpool all the time. He's just a great guy, and super humble, down-to-earth guy. So I don't know if a lot of people know how humble he is, and there's not a whole lot of ego there.
Next question, Jack Michaels, 630 Chad.
Tyson, you just talked about, kind of sitting together on the plane, and I just wanted maybe you to elaborate on what this first road trip was like, from a presence on the plane where, no cards are flying. Did it feel much more subdued than your average road trip?
Yeah, absolutely. And you got these big, thick masks on that tough to breathe through. It's definitely a lot different, but I think, it's different for everybody right now. And we're just, super fortunate to be able to play and, have this season kind of going and, give some people something to watch and to cheer for. So it's definitely different, but, we got to be grateful for the opportunity we have here.
Speaking of opportunities, just on the power play, do you feel like you're getting the ones you want and it's just not going in for you, or do you need to make some adjustments to get better looks?
No, I think we're getting looks. We've gone through video the last couple of games, and there's definitely opportunities there, and they're just, maybe some tough bounces or, just inch here and there that just aren't going. But, it's too talented of a group, and we just got to stick with it and not overcomplicate things. And I don't think we have too much. So we'll just, keep going and keep being consistent until we get some in the back of the net.
Next question, Jason Gregor, TSN 1260.
Tyson, sticking with the power play, you've been very successful in a lot of power plays. Did you have to talk to Connor and Leon? They've been so used to a lefty at the top. Like, I know I saw it in the first game, there was a few passes in your skates, just maybe not used to where your stick. Is that as big of an adjustment as we think on the outside, or is it pretty simple?
I think it's pretty simple. Obviously, it's a bit different, but I mean, they're such talented guys, and they can put the puck wherever they want it to. So I think it's a good look for us. It gives us some more one-timer opportunities, and I don't think they'll have too many issues putting into my wheelhouse, those guys. So not too much conversation. I think we're just all trying to feel each other out a little bit, and I think we're going to get clicking here.
And 5-on-5, you guys have kind of been Jekyll and Hyde. You've been really good in games 2 and 4 defensively, and then games 1 and 3 it was not good. What have you seen as far as the 5-on-5 play from this group, and how you have to play tonight against a team that you know well?
Yeah, it's it is a small sample size at 4 games in, and like you kind of mentioned, we had 2 really good games and two not so good games. So
consistency is going to be huge, and I think it's just getting comfortable in our systems and everyone working as a unit and being comfortable in that. And I think we've definitely got away from that for those 2 games you mentioned. But it's no secret here what we're up against. It's a highly skilled team, fast team that likes to control the play and hold on to the puck. And they're not they don't dump it a ton. So we're going to have to be really structured. And we went over some stuff last night, so we'll be ready.
Next question, Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Tyson, what about the hotel on a road? Is it like being in a bubble?
Yeah, essentially. It's kind of same vibe as when we were in the actual bubble. Obviously, we fly in before that, but and there's nothing. There's not like there's anything open really anywhere anyway. So it's not a huge deal, and beautiful hotel, and we get nice meals. So it's for everything that's going on, it's a good setup.
Good, thank you.
Last 2 questions, Luke Fox, Sportsnet.
Hi, Tyson. You mentioned Auston and Connor have different personalities. How would you describe their 2 personalities?
Yeah, I think Connor's a little more reserved and a bit I don't want to say shy, but just quiet and kind of composed. And Austin's kind of he's a bit of he can be a goofball, I guess. He's a pretty funny guy, and but they're I'm so new to the team too, so just kind of getting to know everybody. So both really good guys though, and grateful I got the opportunity to play with both.
As a new guy to the team, besides obvious guys like Connor and Leon, has a member of the Oilers kind of popped out to you that maybe a guy you didn't really know too much about but is blowing you away?
As far as on ice or off ice?
One second. Go ahead, Luke. Sorry.
Okay. On ice.
Yeah. I think Nuge is such a guy that's, he's been around for so long now. He feels like he's super, feels like he's been in the league for 15 years, but he's just such a great 2-way player and super skilled and makes all those little plays that makes guys around him better. And so I think, getting to play with Nuge and kind of see that up close is he's pretty special.
Last question, Ryan Shaw, TSN.
And Tyson, just on the power play, Tippett has talked a lot about, you're a guy that really likes to shoot the puck. And if you evaluate, your decision making to this point, do you think you've passed up some opportunities where maybe, you would have liked to shoot it? Or how do you think it's been just from the standpoint of you getting that shot off when you feel you need to?
Yeah, I think I've been taking, shots when they're there, and, maybe 1 or 2 I could have bombed, but at the same time, you want to get these guys on your flanks of the puck and have them making plays. So I think we've had some good looks and I've had some good shots, and we're just, kind of waiting for one of them to, kind of pinball around down there and get a bounce or get a screen to go in. So I know the power play has been, we've had our issues the last few games, but I think it's going to come. I think everyone's kind of getting good looks here. So
the Oilers also run pretty regularly with that group, a good minute 30, minute 40 with that top unit. Not every team does that. Is it difficult to have the same sort of quality of play deep into a power play? And what's the challenge in maybe getting deep into some of those power play shifts and keeping that quality up?
I think if you're breaking out and, kind of chasing the puck back in your own end, it can be tough. But when you're set up in your structure and you're moving it around, the time goes pretty quick, and it's not it's not too hard. This is what we train for. And but yeah, if you're going out breaking out pucks, I think it's probably best you take your minute and get off. But if you've got them hemmed in, then it's not too difficult.
The Sens Tyson Barrie's media availability. Thank you, media. Please stay.
Zone, Finn Archibald, shot, score, and Edmonton strikes twice in a
Coach Dave Tippett. Again, raise hand function if you have a question. We'll start with Ryan Rishaug, TSN.
Hey Dave, just wondering if you've had a chance to evaluate the 5-on-5 offense in the last few games, and if there's something you think that has been missing on that front, or what you'd like to see kind of juiced up tonight.
Yeah, I've had time to evaluate all of it. There's lots to evaluate. I thought we were a better defending team against Montreal. We gave up 2 goals that I wouldn't even class as scoring chances, and then gave up a shorter-handed one. The offensive side, we didn't do enough to give ourselves, even though we had the puck in their end more than Montreal did, we didn't create enough chances by winning enough battles that allowed us to make plays at the net.
So, when it comes to winning battles, and obviously, the players going with every intention of winning the battles, what are you seeing when they're engaging, and why you're losing these battles that you've mentioned a few times now?
We got beaten too many battles. The Montreal guy beat our guy in a battle, or we didn't. There's a one-on-one battle that the puck is there. Somebody's going to win it. Somebody's going to lose it. We got to win more of those battles.
Next question, Bob Stauffer, 630 Chad.
Hey Dave, for our Toronto friends, and maybe for a bit of a perspective here, 4 games now for Tyson Barrie. How would you assess his fit with your group to start here?
Still a work in progress here. I think he's getting a feel for that power play. Our power play hasn't scored. We've generated a lot of chances, but we haven't been able to put it in the net. But he's working his way in. There's some parts of his game that have been pretty good. There's some parts we've got to continue to find out what we have.
Next question, Jason Gregor, TSN 1260.
Dave, it's early. It's only 4 games, and obviously a very patient coach. But when you look at Zack Kassian's overall game, he's one of your most aggressive forwards when he's playing well. Can bring a physical element. Do you need to see maybe more of him, even verbally and physically engaged?
Very much so. I had that conversation with him this morning.
How do you think he gets back to being that guy? Because we didn't necessarily see it in the bubble either.
Yeah, he knows he can play better. He's had lots going on in his life with his new daughter here the last couple of days. He needs to get back to playing the way he can.
Next question, Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Dave, you didn't change the lines up. You just figure you need some consistency for a couple of games, just keep the same lines together?
Yeah, a little bit. There were some parts of the game that I didn't mind, so we'll see. Give it one more shot. We'll put Bear back in. We wanted the right-hander back in there, so that's the only lineup change for tonight.
And Ethan, you figure that one game off, you could watch from up top, and then
he's. There's been some good conversations with Ethan. Jim Playfair spent a bunch of time with him, so I think he understands what we're looking for, and hopefully, I think he'll jump in and give us a good game tonight.
Thank you.
Next question, Jack Michael, 630 Chad.
Dave, I think you alluded to it before you left for Toronto, and a lot of coaches talk about the importance of that first trip, guys getting to know each other a little better. With the subdued atmosphere on the plane, no cards, and not the ability to go out to dinner, is it a challenge for you and all coaches to, build that off-ice chemistry that sometimes translates to on-ice?
Yeah, it's interesting because, it's certainly different. There's some different aspects of it, but reality is the whole team eats dinner at night at the hotel, just not in a restaurant, but they're all eating the dinner together. They're having all the meals together. So there's a lot of time around each other, which I just think just a change of atmosphere is going to be good for our group. We haven't played a road game since last March, and just something different will hopefully be good for our group. And it's a really important road trip for us. We've got to come in on the road, play a strong road game, and play well.
Thanks, Dave. That's all I have.
Last question, Lance Hornby.
Dave, this season's been called both a marathon and a sprint. Can you talk about the importance of not falling too far behind in the standings, even though we're only a few games into the season?
No, it's the games come quick, and not just the number of games, but the length of time we're going to play those games in. So you can't be when you're playing well, you got to try to sustain it. When you're not, you got to get it back in a hurry, and or you're going to be behind. That's going to be the whole, not just the start of the season, through the whole season.
This concludes Dave Tippett's media availability. Thank you, media.
And that was head coach Dave Tippett. You heard him talk about the condensed schedule at the end and how quickly the games come at him. This will be a 2-game set against the Toronto Maple Leafs, followed by a trip to Winnipeg. So after back-to-back losses to the Montreal Canadiens to close out a 4-game homestand, the Oilers are looking to get back in the win column. We heard from Tyson Barrie, and he was very critical of his play in Toronto last season. Still notched 39 points on the back end, but since the hiring of Sheldon Keefe in November of 2019, he registered 32 points in 47 games for the club. So he definitely found his groove once Keefe was named head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, at the Scotiabank Arena, there were some lineup changes at morning skate as Ethan Bear will draw back into the lineup after sitting out on Monday versus the Montreal Canadiens, as he will assume his typical spot alongside Darnell Nurse to form the team's top pairing, which means Slater Cuckoo will slide in with Adam Larson and William Legason will come out. There are no lineup changes to the forward group, and also can report there were no lineup changes to the power play as the Oilers' man advantage got to work early this morning. So you can catch tonight's game on Sportsnet with Puck Drop at 5 p.m. We'll have the live post-game show right here on Oilers TV. Also, be sure to check out the pregame report on EdmontonOilers.com. For my producer, I'm Tony Brar. For my producer, Brock Boot, I'm Tony Brar, signing off for Oilers TV. Thanks for tuning in this morning.